Jana usiku maji haya yamezidi, na kuanzia jana usiku masaa saa 2 mvua ilikuwa kubwa sana na maji yakafurika kwa boma za watu.
Naomba serikali yetu atusaidie kwa ajili ya maji. Maji imetufurika leo usiku, hatujalala, vile hata inataka nyesha saa hii, hatujui tunaelekea wapi. So tunaomba usaidizi kwa serikali yetu ya kaunti na serikali yetu yote watusaidie. Matinga ikuje itusaidie kuonesha hii maji njia iwashe kupitia kwa mabama. Shule hakuna sasa, sijui watoto wataingia.
Maji yametuvamia hasa jana usiku ambapo mvua haikuwa hapa lakini ilinyesha mlimani. Kwa hiyo maji yakachukua mkondo na yakatupata kwa kazi mwendo wa saa 2 usiku, na kuanzia hapo ikajaa manyumba, ikabeba vitu vingi na hata ikaharibu chakula. Mara ni vizuri kuzuia kuliko kuponya, kwa sababu sasa wakati tunaelekea dakika hii, tunaona kule imeanza kuwa nyeusi katika mlima, tumeanza kupata wasiwasi. Kwa hivyo tungeomba kusaidiwa kwa njia ya kuelekezwa maji kupitia excavator, maana ilikuwa hapo awali imetengenezewa njia lakini sasa imeziba maana.
Well, we pray that, one way or the other they're going to get assistance, because, man, have you ever experienced flash floods? They are the most craziest thing you can ever experience. I mean, 1 minute the place is dry, and then the next minute you're hearing roars of rocks, trees, all kind of stuff, and water mixed plus mud just coming down. And you can tell there's something coming down. And most of the time you don't know what it is. And unfortunately, if it happens at night, it's a disaster. And then it gets to you, and you most of the time can't help yourself. Elsewhere, Deputy President Kithure Kindiki has dismissed opposition leaders inciting public dissent against the Kenya Kwanza administration. During a meeting with Nyandarua County opinion leaders and legislators at his current residence, he reaffirmed the government's focus on fulfilling its pre-election promises, emphasizing action over political rhetoric. Kindiki cautioned critics to brace for a political showdown in 2027, confident that the administration's track record will vindicate it.
Sisi ni wanasiasa kama nyinyi. Msidhani sisi sio wanasiasa na tunajua kuomba kura. Wacheni madharau. Tunajua kuomba kura. Si namna hiyo? Si ndio? Lakini pia tunajua kiongozi mzuri anaanza na maslahi ya wananchi kwanza. Anasukuma barabara, anasukuma stima, anasukuma maji, bei ya maziwa, bei ya viazi, kwa sababu kila jambo iko na wakati wake. Ukichaguliwa unasukuma kazi, alafu wakati wa campaign ukifika unatoa koti, unatoa tai, unavaa t-shirt na kofia, unaenda kiwanja kuomba kura. Vile vile tunajua ya kwamba katika mambo ya siasa, mwananchi siku hizi anataka kusikia wewe kama kiongozi, wakati umekuwa mbunge, wakati umekuwa MCA, umekuwa governor, senator, ama hata rais wetu, umefanya nini siku ile umekuwa kwa ofisi.
Now, hundreds of universal health coverage or UHC workers took to the streets in Nairobi on Tuesday in a peaceful protest demanding permanent employment and payment of outstanding gratuities and salary equalization. The UHC workers camped outside the Afya House, the Ministry of Health headquarters, calling for payment of the gratuities before their payroll is transferred to county governments come the 1st of July 25. More than 3,000 workers drawn from various counties held a night vigil and lit candles at the Green Park bus station before marching to the entrance of Afya House.
We have rejected what as our CS Duale said, and the communique by the Ministry of Health and Council of Governors that stated we should go back to work as of last week, and that our payroll is going to the county levels with the same stipend. We are here to say that we reject that proposal. We demand that we be put on permanent and pensionable terms. We demand that we be given our...
Tungependa kuelezea kwamba wakaweza kutupatia gratuity yetu ambayo tumeweza kuhudumia kwa muda wa miaka 5.
Bwana William Samoei Ruto, for how long are we going to come to these streets of Nairobi to keep asking for the same things? For how long are we going to lose the UHC healthcare workers? Is UHC still alive?
We have been going around the country championing for universal health coverage. What is this universal health coverage without UHC staff?
Madam Modoni has been promising us PNP since time immemorial. What does she want with us? Does she want us to die? What does she want? Let her address us. Hapa tutoki bila PNP, tunalala.
There's nothing as horrible as being treated by a doctor who's angry. Eh? Unadungwa shindano na daktari amekasirika. Anairusha kama dart. Anyway, learning activities have been disrupted in Angata Barikoi, North Narok South, following a fresh raid that left 1 person dead and at least 13 cattle stolen. Area Chief Paulo Ruto confirmed the incident, saying the attackers hid in a maize plantation before attacking Kitura village. Several schools remain closed with teachers and learners staying away because of the tension. This latest attack comes just days after another raid in the same region with over 15 animals stolen.
Sisi tumegundua kwamba uwizi ya ng'ombe hapa inafanywa na watu ambao wanatoka nchi nyingine in collusion with the neighbors. But mostly ng'ombe ikiibiwa hapa, ikifuatwa, mwishowe tunaambiwa imeenda Tanzania. So what we are requesting the president is to establish a KDF camp here.
Sisi vijana sasa tumemaliza shule, tungetarajia sasa kwenda makazini. Lakini shida ni ile sasa tupapa mbakani, kuchunga ng'ombe, kuchunga mahindi isifyekwe, na kuchunga tena maisha ya watu, sababu kuna wamama wanapalilia hapa hivi.
Mali ya watu ya Angata warudishwe. Hakuna pingamizi. Ameharibu uchumi na amesambaratisha na anaongeza usharati, sababu mwanaume akikufa bibi anapaki. Akibaki sio ni usharati tayari.
Tumesaliwa hapa, wamepiga babu zetu, wametupiga, jana wakakuja na bomu, ndio tukaogopa tukaachilia ng'ombe iende.
You know, the strangest thing is this, you kill a man for a cattle. Ng'ombe inafanya uwe binadamu ambayo Yesu alikufia. Hey, fane. Now, Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe has clarified that no sugar factory in Kenya has been sold, stating that the government has only leased them out through a transparent process that received full parliamentary approval. Kagwe, who spoke before the National Assembly's Agriculture Committee, dismissed claims that the leasing process lacked transparency, emphasizing that all stakeholders were involved from the beginning. The CS noted that Parliament had given a green light to the whole process from the onset, and that every step taken was in line with its recommendations.
You will remember, Mr. Chairman, that a while back, the Parliament itself formed a sugar caucus. Parliament is the one that debated the issue between whether they should sell these sugar factories, and it was Parliament that eventually decided that what they should do is not sell the factories, but actually lease the factories. Even though, you know, some people had actually agreed and signed for the sale of the sugar factories. So to begin with, there is no selling of the sugar factories that has been done. So that eliminates the issue of a shareholding, because if you are selling something, you can now own shares in it. If you are leasing something, what you are leasing essentially is just management.
Wow. Now, in a bid to recover billions of shillings in unpaid land rates, Nairobi County yesterday launched a sweeping clampdown on buildings in the Central Business District, marking the beginning of a far-reaching campaign targeting landowners who have long evaded obligations. Tyrus Njoroge, the Nairobi County Receiver of Revenue, led the operation's first phase, expressing both determination and frustration as county enforcement officers clamped several buildings with significant arrears. The operation, which began in the heart of the city, is set to expand to high-end residential and commercial areas starting today.
Down on plot number 209, which has 2 subplots here, which owe the county around 4 million shillings. So the activity essentially is that we are going to put on the building that this now belongs to Nairobi City County until all the debts have been cleared. Then we are going to get into the buildings. We are going to register all the tenants into our Nairobi Pay system, and we are going to teach them how to make payments. Every single end of the month, we will expect them to remit the to be remitting their rents to Nairobi City County government until these properties are fully paid up. We will do this clamping on both commercial and residential buildings, because there are residential properties where the owners also do not make payment. Out of 255,000, 56,000 properties, only 50,000 have complied. So we have 200,000 properties that have outstanding.
All right, before I take a look at the newspapers, let me do this story where the JKIA law courts ordered 2 suspects, including Lake Basin Development Director Abel Ochieng, to be detained for 23 days as investigations continue into the murder of Kasipul MP Charles Ongondowere. The prosecution had sought 30 days to detain the suspects, arguing that the suspects played a crucial role in the planning and execution of the legislator's killing. Earlier, the court dismissed an application by the suspects seeking the recusal of Chief Magistrate Irene Gishobi from the case. The suspects had accused the magistrate of being biased.
So then we ask ourselves a very simple question: what is compelling? The prosecution has made a weak attempt of trying to show you what compelling is. Totally weak. But let us say, because it's not defined in the Constitution, because it is not defined in the Constitution, then we have to fall back to what the actual definition of compelling is. So what do? We go to the dictionary or we go to the thesaurus? And let us go to the dictionary. What does it say? The Oxford Dictionary says it must be so strong, so compelling, so convincing, so strong, so compelling, so convincing, such that the person in whom this matter is brought before is convinced they must act in that direction.
From the submissions, it is clear that this was a well-organized criminal activity that was well executed. And in such organization, several individuals have been linked, and it is important that investigators are granted sufficient time to thoroughly investigate the matter and sort out the wheat and chaff so that proper individuals involved can be charged appropriately.
Let's take a look at the newspapers. Which one do you want us to start? Leo niambieni. Tuanze na gani? Ati Otieno unasema tuanze na Star? Wacha tuulize Wafula. Wafula? Standard. Wafula, sikusikii? Standard. Okay. Amesema Nation. Sawa, wacha tuanze na Nation. The Daily Nation revealed the path to senior high school. That's how the headline starts. And it has some interesting stuff here. Selection of senior schools will run from May 26th to 15th. Then placement to be done in the National Education Management Information System, or NEMIS. Then learners will select 12 schools. Basically, by the newspapers, you go through it if your son or your daughter will be going to a higher school. Now, Mwilu, the Deputy Chief Justice, is facing ouster of a Gachagua impeachment case. The petition against Deputy Chief Justice follows a High Court ruling that she usurped the powers of our boss to appoint a bench of judges that lifted an order blocking the swearing in of Professor Kithure Kindiki as Deputy President. Then the PASO of Kenya exporting HIV drugs amid short. Kenya is exporting HIV/AIDS drugs, and we have a shortage. Wafula, wewe ndio umesema tusome Nation. This is the story. Kenya is exporting HIV drugs. Exporting, as in we are taking and exporting to other places, other countries. Yet we have a shortage. And we don't manufacture them. Akivane. Just 2 months ago, people living with HIV in Kenya were in distress of a crippling shortage of first-line antiretroviral drugs. Meanwhile, an emergency consignment of ARVs worth $34 million sat untouched at the Nairobi warehouse, awaiting distribution since the previous year. This is somebody's head needs to roll. PASO of Kenya exporting HIV drugs amid shortage. We are exporting HIV drugs to Mozambique. Yet Kenyans are suffering a shortage. It's like a mother cooking food and then taking the food to the neighbors, yet her kids are dying of hunger. That's a foolish woman. Sex for hawking space scandal rocks City Hall. Hey. Kenya is just a movie that never ends. You know a series like 24, whereby you, after 30 minutes, you just know this thing has ended. Then it hangs on a suspense where you have to watch the next series. You watch the next episode, then again it hangs at that. Just when you think that this plot is ended, there's a major twist in the plot. Watu wakanjo surely. Why tribunal blocked Ruto housing project in Lang'ata? Senators' fury over rising death in police and prison custody. Mwilu faces ouster over Gachagua impeachment case. And then the back page, title race going down to the wire. Police coach Eugene Ndairaje and Gor Mahia coach Sinisa Mihig and Tusker coach Charles Okere. These are the teams that are looking like they are going to take the cup. Name the abductors. You know, when President William Ruto was outside the country, he was asked some questions about abductions in the country, and he admitted that there were abductions in the country, and said every person who had been abducted had been returned to their home. Now that's like chewing a grenade which you've taken the pin out. It blows up in your mouth. Now right now, quite a number of people are now asking him, admit locally that not only abduction but murders have taken place, extrajudicial killing, and mostly so of Gen Zs during the Gen Z uprising. And one of the people who's raising those questions is former Chief Justice David Maraga. And he says such utterances are deeply hurtful, especially to parents still mourning the loss of their children. How long shall the lives of innocent Kenyans be so devalued and dismissed? And then you have Hussein Khalid and Martha Karua also giving their thoughts on the whole thing. And then you have eyes on Gachagua and fresh outfit amid moves to entice Mount Kenya. MPs allowed back to KICC offices after 50 million rent arrears cleared. Then health staff clash with Duale over gratuity. Uproar over Ruto Green confession. Kenyans demand action on killings. They want to know who killed. Then, the state has told the court that former Attorney General J.B. Muturi resigned as the Attorney General and was not sacked as the president claimed. I'm telling you, it's serious. Aishangi. Ish. Hey. What? I love this country. Where? Afghan politician faces extradition over drug and illegal firearms charges. Now you see, Afghanistan is literally where cocaine and everything, I mean, they grow that coca plant in the open. So probably this politician came to the country and wanted to behave the way he behaves at home. Out Neja. We acted within our mandate as UON Council, Anangwe team says. Why do people fight so much over these universities? The management. There must be some chirigi. Nipatie chirigi. There was a woman outside the archives, long time ago. I think she was a street woman or something like that. But she used to beg, and she used to hit the ground like this. And every time she's hitting, she's saying, Nipatia chirigi. So just brought that into my memory. Why did I think of that? Anyway, it is another empty promise to construct Kamarini Stadium. What is this? Athletes from various training camps in Iten train on the 16th of April at Kamarini Stadium in Elgeyo Marakwet. The stadium has been under construction it has been under construction since 2016. Sihami Kenya. Mimi Ohami. The Star newspaper, Dozier, says Gen Z to determine State House race. U.S. report tells of Ruto trials as 2027 beacons. And then Nairobi streets flooded after heavy downpour. Weh, manze, if you ever in your dream thought of having a swimming pool. Trust you me. There are people right now, their houses hapo nje ni swimming pool. Their dreams have come true. Where? The Star has some interesting stories that I think you can read. Audit flags unexplained 2 billion shillings in state agencies. Then Ruto in trouble with MPs over sugar mills lease. Then blow to intern teachers as state fails to allocate cash. Waiver on land rates, interest and penalties. That's in Kiambu County. CBK under fire over ethnic imbalance in its workforce. Now listen to this. You remember some time back I told you the Star has a very funny agenda when it comes to LGBTQ. Now here a story. At gays and HIV patients are keeping off internet over bullying. Now, how in the world will I know that you're a HIV patient by looking at you on the internet? If you looked at me, I'm not HIV and definitely not gay. But by looking at me, how would you say that being on the internet that people are being bullied? This is just one of those campaigns, and the picture that they have put is of this one is of a guy with a rainbow flag and he's being harassed. This is a campaign to push for LGBTQ agenda in this country. And we will stand firm and say no. We will stand firm and fight it. LGBTQ in the country are to be legalized. No. You see, this is ridiculous because they keep off internet over bullying. Do you go on the internet and scream, hey, I'm HIV, oh, I'm gay? If you go out and say some things, and you know it's against the law, what do you expect? You think people are going to sing songs of praises for you? Come on, guys. On LGBTQ, increased human activities threat to fungi. IUNC boss says they are unsung heroes on earth. Self-made billionaires rising in Kenya as inheritance shrinks. Oh, really? This is interesting. Billionaires, we are increasing in the country. Our numbers are going up in the country. By the way, the air up there is very fresh. Ingwe on a mission. Leopards coach Ambani targets Premier League over this is not proper English. Leopards coach Ambani targets Premier League over against Mathare United. Na kue. Nechao. Kesongo geuti kiseo. All right. We bring the curtains down on this show this morning. I hope you had fun. Our mindset expert basically got engaged. He's been going around training people on all kinds of things, companies on mindset. Remember, your mindset is so important because everything out here is determined by up here. If your up here is constrained and the pictures that you're playing in your mind and brooding in your mind are wrong, then out here will be wrong. The Bible says that guard your hearts with all diligence, Because out of it are the issues of life. Out of it are the boundaries and the outcomes, the results of your life. So if you don't take care, if you don't mount guard over your heart, then you will start producing things out here that you'll wonder, where are all these things coming from? And in fact, guard your heart. It's like, you know how, have you ever gone outside the central bank? The way you have GSUs there with guns, AK-47 rifles, just mounting guard, lest any individual comes up or thinks about some things. That's how you're supposed to mount guard over your mind. You're watching TV programs that have all F words, have all kind of cuss words going on, and you wonder how you are becoming insensitive to them and you find yourself speaking them. It's because you've not mounted guard over your mind. There are programs that are being shown on secular TVs these days that are so sad. They are opening ways for LGBTQ. They are opening ways for, some of the soaps that we watch. You have, choose any soap that you will see right now, and mostly so on the major TV. What do they show? What do they celebrate? They celebrate a man who is cheating on his wife, or a wife who is cheating on their husband, and yada, yada, yada. And before long, the seeds have been planted in your mind. And you start doing the same thing and you're wondering, where did all these things come from? Well, you've not mounted guard over your mind. And as a result, the outcomes are pretty clear. I hope I've helped you. I've helped myself too. So let's do that. Our mindset is very important. You will never go where your mind has never been to. Never. You will never go, mark this, you will never go where your mind has never been to. If your mind has never been to, success, you will never go to success. A place called success. So let your mind go there, train it every day. As a man thinketh, so is he. Do have yourself a lovely morning. Phyllis has tengeneza. Today is not Angela. Today it's Phyllis. Phyllis has tengeneza some tea. Kwanza, Phyllis is a Mluya. Chai ya Mluya. Wacha tena nitoe alama ya mshangao. Chai ya Mluya ni chai. I'm not saying Angela's is not great. She does great tea. Oh my goodness. Chai sasa, wacha niende nikakunywe chai. Hii ni maji nilikuwa nikikunywa, lakini sasa ni katiabe. Si ndio? Good morning.